Hey yo, what's going on everybody? My name is Braxophone and today I'm bringing you guys another Genshin Impact video. Today we're actually going to be talking about an event that is currently going on and actually has no set end date to unlock a free character in Genshin Impact. This one is a little bit more challenging than the Barbara one though, and I'll explain that later in the video. So for now, let's get ready to roll. Before we begin, I'd like to let you guys know that I do stream regularly on Twitch 3 to 4 days a week. I'm streaming Genshin Impact currently, but I do other games like Among Us, Final Fantasy XIV, Overwatch, tons of other stuff. If you guys are interested in those kinds of games or you're interested in watching live streams in general, go ahead and drop a follow at twitch.tv/Braxophone. And with that, let's just get right into it. So, Xiangling is a fire melee character. She uses a spear for most of her attacks, and her elemental attack is a little bear with a tiny flamethrower. Her strongest ability creates a bunch of fire blades that rotate around her that kind of protect her and do fire damage, similar to Kea. She's a great Amber replacement if you're looking for another fire character to replace a range in your party, so that way you can have a different range element. For me personally, I unlocked some new characters that use ranged attacks, so I don't want to have too many ranged in my party. I replaced Amber with Xiangling. She's a super good all-around character, and the fact that she is free if you're able to complete this challenge makes her definitely worth the while. So let's actually talk about how to get her. On screen, you'll be able to see that she has an event page up right this second, and it says to complete Floor 3, Chamber 3 of Spiral Abyss. So, what is Spiral Abyss? Spiral Abyss is a single-player dungeon that you'll have to enter with your party of 4. It is over on Musk Isle, and if you don't know how to get over to that island, you can go ahead and watch the video linked in the description on how to get over to that Crescent Island that is way out at sea. Once you're adventurer rank 20 and you have gotten access to Spiral Abyss on Musk Isle, you just need to create a party and enter it. Spiral Abyss acts similarly to a lot of dungeons in other games where it actually locks your party and doesn't let you switch characters out when you're in there. Spiral Abyss keeps all of your weapons, levels, and everything else the same from when you first started. So if you decided to go to Spiral Abyss right now and you were level 20, and you leveled all your characters to 50 and came back to complete your Spiral Abyss challenge, all your characters would still be level 20 and still have that same gear that was equipped to them when you first entered. This almost makes Spiral Abyss not worth doing unless you have a super high level group, but you can actually clear out some of the lower floors with some lower level characters. Each floor has challenges to it based on the time it takes to defeat all of the enemies. Even if you aren't able to make it to Floor 3 Chamber 3, you might as well go ahead and knock out some of those time challenges because you do get a lot of Primogems and other materials. Personally, I was able to beat Floor 3 Chamber 3 on some pretty low level characters actually. But there was a reason I was able to do it, and that's what we're actually going to talk about next here. If your characters are pretty under-leveled, you are going to have a rough time getting up there. So I have some tips and recommendations for you guys before you go in. The most basic and straightforward one is to try to play to the strengths of the floor that you're on. The floor itself gives you a couple recommendations. I suggest you follow those as far as element composition goes. That being said, having a good balance of elements to kind of play off of is really, really key. There's only 2 characters that I think are a must-have for this challenge if you're going to do it underleveled, and those 2 characters are your Traveler and Barbara. My reasoning for this is that you can actually cheese some of the floors with your Traveler by using Animo. I did this on stream last night, so all my clips are going to be from stream, but you can actually see that I'm just kind of tearing into everything with wind, and you can actually pick things up with your tornado and throw them off the map for free kills. So when you see kind of an elite boss, go ahead and pick him up with your tornado and just throw him off the map, because honestly, it saves you so much freaking time, especially if you're underleveled and unable to do high amounts of damage. It's kind of a cheese method, but it definitely works. You can also use bows and claymores to kind of move people around and hit them off the map. And it gets really effective on Floor 3 Chamber 2 when there's a bunch of enemies that want to like kind of back away from you, because that way you can push them over to the edge and then just snipe them off or smack them off. The reason for the Barbara pick is pretty straightforward too. If you get her up to a decent level, having her heal your entire party is just way too OP to give up. But essentially, once you kind of master that whole thing, you can actually beat the level 45s without even hitting the second ascension. I definitely thought that I'd have to be level 45 or 50 even to try to beat that, but honestly, you can beat it at level like 31 or so. I think that's around where I was. But also, obviously, if you just have high-level characters, you don't really have to worry about doing what I did. Just make sure you have a good elemental balance and that you have enough HP and damage to kind of pummel through the enemies in the time that you have. Something to note is that you don't actually have to beat the third chamber of the third floor within the challenge time limits, but you do have to just beat it within the allotted time that it gives you. Floor 3, Chamber 2 is actually the hardest one, I think, in my experience, because you will get pummeled by a bunch of people throwing objects at you that cast elements. So some people will throw ice things at you and just try to stun lock you. So for that reason, if you have tiaras that block out elements, you can put one on each character, so that way you won't actually get chain flamed or chain stunned. But yeah, that's basically it. Once you beat the third floor, third chamber, you will gain access to Xiangling. To claim Xiangling, once you've beaten the third floor, third chamber, just go to the events section under your menu and then go ahead and claim her. Now that all is said and done, that's basically all that I got for you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something and maybe that your run in the Spiral Abyss is a little bit easier. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a rating, and as always, subscribe for more Genshin Impact content. See you later.